Hi and welcome. So over the course of this video series, I'm going to question everything you think you know about cycling and everything you think you know about training and how to prepare for events. I'm going to ask you to make 4 fundamental shifts in how you're training. But before I do that, I want to talk to you about the #1 challenge that I see cyclists having, and it's time. All of us are time crunched. Last year, I launched this program with A1 members, and I said I could get improvements of 20% in functional threshold power and speed off less than 8 hours a week. A lot of people doubted me at the time. Some people even laughed and said it was impossible, but check this out.
Starting point in the plan, we did a power test, 280 watts from my threshold, so good start. I did a 12 weeks base plan, then the build plan, and tested myself at the end of 3 cycles, 3 plans, the peak plan, and finished up at 364 as my wattage.
Followed a 12-week base plan, started off not using power but with heart. Did the same climb week 1, week 12, around 21-22% improvements. It worked.
You see, you doubted me. A lot of people doubted me, but doubt me now. Do you want to experience that 20% improvement in power, speed and strength? I can help you, and I want to help you. Are you time crunched? Do you have less than 8 hours a week to train? Well, then our system is perfect for you. So what does a 20% improvement in functional threshold power, what does that do for you in the real world? Well, it's a jump from 220 to upwards of 280 watts in threshold. That's going to take you up 2 categories, so you're going from category 4 to category 2. It's going to take 4 whole minutes off your 25-mile personal best, or 2 minutes off your 10-mile PB. That's amazing stuff. There's so much misinformation out there about training and training principles. People are frustrated and they're confused. One week they're told one thing in an article, the next week they're told something else. They're just jumping from system to system and they're getting frustrated and never achieving success. If you want to achieve success in cycling or anything else in life, there's one easy way to do it. Find somebody who's already got to the level you want to get to, and then mimic the steps they've taken to get there. It's that simple. So if you come with me on this journey, and if you make these 4 shifts, if you follow this proven system that we've laid down at A1 members, you're going to be amazed at the difference it makes. The first shift I'm going to ask you guys to make, I'm going to ask you to train with structure. There's a lot of misinformation around training, specifically training in the winter. People think you can't go into the big ring until January. People think that you can't use high intensity during the winter. Both these are in fact flawed assumptions. A balanced training plan has a combination of high intensity training at the right times through the winter. If you're a pro rider and you have 20-30 hours a week to ride, that's fine. You can ride around all day in zone 1 and zone 2 and you will get those adaptations. But if you're a busy guy, if you're struggling to balance your life with your work and training, or if you have an unpredictable schedule, you need to follow a structured training plan. In order to train with structure, there's 3 essential elements I need you guys to embrace. 1 is a shift from junk miles to high intensity training. 2 is to learn your numbers, and 3 is to use race simulation sessions. So I'm going to explain what I mean by each of these. The shift from junk miles to high intensity. There's 2 ways to manipulate the physiological load of a training session. You either increase the duration or you increase the intensity. For a lot of you guys and girls watching, duration of our week is fixed. We can't get out for 15 or 20 hours. A lot of us are pegged at 6 to 8 hours a week training. So the only tool we have at our disposal, it's to increase the intensity. So just interspersing periods of intensity into our training load, it's a very effective way to maximize our time. Secondly, you guys absolutely need to know your numbers. So this involves going out, doing a threshold test. You can click the link down below and download the threshold calculator. And then knowing your zones, knowing the physiological adaptation that takes place in zone 1, knowing what riding in zone 2 means to you. There's a different response from riding in each of these zones and you need to know it. So our calculator down below is really going to help you out with that. And the third element I'm going to ask you to embrace, it's race simulation. So you need to look at the demands of your event and then we need to reverse engineer it. So for example, if I'm training for a 4-kilometer pursuit, the demands are going to be very different than if I'm training for a 160-kilometer road race. So we start with the destination as the starting point. By that I mean if it's a stage race, we look at the demands of a stage race and then we break them down into training, and those demands start to appear more and more frequently in our training sessions. Adopting this sort of structured training, specifically the shift from junk miles over to high intensity training. Last season, that's seen results for our athletes of up to a 20% improvement in functional threshold power. You too can enjoy those sort of benefits. So the old way, it's lots of miles, it's going out the door without a plan, that one session isn't fitting into a grander scheme of things. By that I mean today's session should set off a domino effect, where today's session leads to us ticking off the weekly goal leads to us accomplishing a monthly goal, and that ultimately feeds into our season-long goal. The old way is going to lead to frustration, it's going to lead to heartbreak, and it's going to lead to you being burnt out and completely disheartened and bored by the time the season rolls around. So to reiterate, if you want to combat that frustration, you need to move to this structured model I'm advocating, where you're moving away from junk miles and onto a high intensity training schedule, where you need to know your numbers and know exactly why you're training in each zone, and where you need to also reverse engineer the demands of your race and target those into your training. And that's exactly what we're going to do for you in A1 members. We're going to take all that guesswork out of it. True top performance in life or cycling is only ever possible when we commit to a goal. So right now, I'm going to ask you in the comments section below to commit to your goal for next season. By verbalising it and letting others know in the comment section down below, you're twice as likely to achieve it. Also, don't forget to download the free zone calculator below. It's central to our whole concept, so make sure you get it.